Kansas City. The 1990s, Debora Green and her husband, Michael Farrar, were a power couple. Both accomplished physicians, living in a grand, luxurious home with two intelligent and beautiful children. Their life seemed like the epitome of the American dream. But beneath that perfect facade lay a marriage fraught with tension, a soul tormented by jealousy, and a growing madness, and it would soon turn into a nightmare. The Green family's sprawling suburban residence stood as a testament to their success. Debora, with her sharp intellect and medical expertise, had carved out a respected career alongside her husband, Michael. Their children, Timothy and Kelly, were the pride of their lives, bright, vivacious, and full of promise. Family photos captured moments of apparent bliss, vacations, birthdays, and milestones celebrated in their opulent home. But the smiles in those pictures masked a sinister reality brewing beneath the surface. As the new decade dawned, cracks began to appear in the Greens' seemingly perfect world. Debora and Michael's marriage was deteriorating rapidly. Heated arguments echoed through their once peaceful homes. Michael had found solace in a new relationship, a fact that ignited a fierce jealousy in Debora. But before he could make his escape from this toxic union, a bizarre and terrifying series of events began to unfold. Michael Farrar, once the picture of health, suddenly found himself plagued by a mysterious illness. It started with mild discomfort, a queasy stomach, occasional bouts of weakness, but soon these symptoms escalated dramatically. Michael was struck by violent episodes of vomiting, crippling abdominal pain, and a debilitating weakness that left him bedridden for days. His colleagues at the hospital were baffled. Test after test came back inconclusive. The cause of his suffering remained elusive. What Michael did know, what he couldn't have imagined in his worst nightmares, was that the source of his agony was sitting across the dinner table each night. Debora Green, consumed by rage and resentment, had embarked on a calculated campaign of poisoning. With cold precision, she laced Michael's food and drinks with a cocktail of toxic chemicals, thallium and cadmium, potent poisons that slowly ravaged his body from the inside out. But Michael wasn't the only victim of Debora's twisted scheme. Timothy and Kelly, innocent children caught in the crossfire of their parents' imploding marriage, began to exhibit similar symptoms. Stomach aches, unexplained fatigue, and bouts of nausea became a regular part of their young lives. Kelly, the older and more perceptive of the two, sensed that something was terribly wrong in their home. One fateful afternoon, Kelly made a chilling discovery. As she reached for her father's glass, intending to take a sip, she noticed something odd, small, unfamiliar pills partially dissolved at the bottom, her heart racing. Kelly tried to warn her father, but Debora was always one step ahead, dismissing Kelly's concerns and gaslighting Michael into believing he was simply paranoid. As Michael's health continued to deteriorate, Debora's web of lies grew ever tighter. She played the role of the concerned wife to perfection, accompanying him to doctor's appointments and feigning distress at his mysterious condition. All the while, she was systematically poisoning not just her husband, but her own flesh and blood. The night of October 24, 1995, would forever be etched in the annals of true crime history, as darkness fell over their Kansas City suburb. An inferno erupted within the Green family home. Flames licked at the windows, smoke billowed into the night sky, and the once pristine structure became an apocalyptic vision of destruction. When fire trucks screeched to a halt outside the burning house, they were met with a chilling sight. There stood Debora Green, her face an impassive mask, watching her home and her children burn. Firefighters rushed into the inferno, desperately searching for survivors. They managed to rescue Kelly, pulling her from the clutches of the flames. But for 13-year-old Timothy, it was too late. The young boy, with his whole life ahead of him, perished in the fire set by his own mother. Michael Farrar, still hospitalized and weakened from months of poisoning, received the devastating news. As he grappled with the loss of his son and the near death of his daughter, a horrifying realization began to dawn. This was no accident. The fire, like his mysterious illness, bore the hallmarks of deliberate malice. As investigators combed through the charred remains of the Green family home, the full extent of Debora's crimes began to come to light. Forensic evidence pointed to arson, with multiple points of origin suggesting a calculated effort to ensure maximum destruction. Toxicology reports revealed the presence of thallium and cadmium in Michael's system, confirming the long-suspected poison. But perhaps most chilling of all was Debora Green's demeanor during questioning. With an eerie calmness that sent shivers down the spines of even seasoned detectives, she confessed to her crimes. Yes, she had poisoned her husband over a period of months. Yes, she had set fire to their home, fully aware that her children were inside. Her voice never wavered as she recounted the details of her heinous acts. As the investigation deepened, a disturbing psychological profile of Debora Green emerged. Psychiatric evaluations revealed a cocktail of severe mental health issues, including borderline personality disorder and narcissistic personality disorder. The facade of the successful physician and devoted mother had crumbled, revealing a woman consumed by jealousy, rage, and a profound disconnect from reality. Debora's motive, as she coldly explained it, was a twisted form of revenge against Michael. His attempt to leave her had triggered a psychotic break, unleashing years of pent-up resentment and instability. In her warped mind, destroying her family was the ultimate way to punish her husband for his perceived betrayal. The trial of Debora Green captivated and horrified the nation. How could a mother, a doctor sworn to do no harm, commit such unspeakable acts against her own family? The prosecution painted a damning picture of a woman who had methodically plotted the destruction of those closest to her. The defense argued for leniency based on Debora's mental health issues, but the evidence was overwhelming. In the end, justice was swift and severe. Debora Green was sentenced to life in prison, with no possibility of parole for 40 years. As she was led away in handcuffs, her face remained as impassive as it had been on that fateful night, watching her home burn. The case of Debora Green sent shockwaves through American society. It challenged our assumptions about the sanctity of motherhood and the trustworthiness of medical professionals. It forced us to confront the uncomfortable truth that sometimes the greatest dangers lurk not in dark alleys or among strangers, but in the very heart of our homes. Today, the story of the Green family serves as a chilling reminder of the destructive power of unchecked mental illness and the devastating consequences of love twisted into hate. Timothy and Kelly Farrar, whose young lives were so tragically impacted by their mother's madness, stand as silent testaments to the innocent victims of familial violence. As we reflect on this horrific chapter in true crime history, we're left with haunting questions. How could a mother's love curdle into such malevolence? What invisible faults in our society allow such tragedies to unfold behind closed doors? And perhaps most chillingly, how well do we truly know those closest to us? Debora Green was sentenced to life in prison. Her case shocked America, not just for the sheer brutality of a mother against her own family, but for the sophisticated madness hidden beneath the facade of a respected physician. It serves as a chilling reminder that sometimes the greatest fears come from those we trust most, and the most profound destruction stems from love twisted into hate.